All right, so I would like to introduce our partner spotlight for today, Darcy McDowell, who is the Associate Director of Stewardship and Native Greenhouse Manager for the North Shore Land Alliance. Darcy has a degree in biology and has been certified by National Audubon as a habitat and ecosystems land professional. In her position, she manages the North Shore Land Alliance preserved properties, oversees Land Alliance's summer internship program, manages greenhouse production, and leads programs to educate people about the benefits of native plants. Thank you, Darcy.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me so I can talk to you guys about one of our invasive species management projects. I chose this topic because since I started with the Land Alliance in 2023, this has received a lot of my time and attention. And I named it the Ever-Evolving Management of Mugwort because you'll see as we go through this meadow, I think, has received almost every type of management treatment you could think of. And I know it makes us feel better when we meet and talk to other land managers and learn that they're having the same struggles and doing the same kind of trial and error thing that we're doing. So I thought maybe this will make you feel better about one of the projects you're working on. So a little background on the North Shore Land Alliance quickly. The organization was founded in 2003, and it is to date responsible for preserving around 1,400 acres. That's with advocating for environmental bonds, land purchase with environmental bonds, as well as us purchasing and managing property and holding conservation easements, where we purchase the development rights of people's homes, farms, that kind of thing. So currently, these numbers, that's what me and the stewardship team were responsible for going out and working on. We also host all sorts of environment or educational programs about environmental topics, from composting to cold stunned aquatic animals and pretty much everything in between. I think last year we hosted like 40 presentations and lectures, something like that. We have 12 staff members. Over the summer, we have our summer interns. They just finished at the beginning of August. We had 4 of them this year, and one of them is actually coming back next week. Very exciting for us. And we have anywhere from 100 to 200 volunteers every year that we work with. So before we get into the mugwort, just a couple of other things that we were working on this summer. Our parrot's feather, that got a lot of our time. This is the Myriophyllum aquaticum in our Williams Pond. We've been hand pulling, but then we're also working with the DEC to do this experiment where you put down tarps and see if blocking the sunlight is enough to prevent the growth. Jury's still out on that. We got to go through the results, so maybe you'll hear about that on another day. The mile a minute at Cushman Woods, this meadow at one point was like covered in it. And you mentioned our Invasive Species Awareness Week polls. This one got a lot of attention. We just keep getting big groups to try and keep pulling it. We've hired crews to come out and pull it. We've also brought in mowers to mow big patches of it and just try and keep it from reseeding and taking over the whole thing. So that gets a lot of attention also. And of course, the mugwort at the Humes Preserve. Dun, dun, dun. And so the management at Humes began in 2016 with goats. The fan favorite. They got fenced off in the southern corner of the meadow, and they were left to graze on the porcelain berry. You can see most of the invasive that was the issue at this point was the porcelain berry, but unfortunately the goats got expensive and they had to switch gears. So next, Larry Wiener Landscape Associates was brought on to install a meadow. And so he had a whole timeline. This timeline involved treating with broadleaf herbicides, overseeding with cover crops, winter wheat, and then coming in with a brush hog, a forestry mulcher, clearing everything in the middle. And then after it was cleared, it was seeded with a no-till drill. And then as it regrowed, there was periodic broadleaf application to invasives. And then this was done in kind of like a 2-part. So they did this center part first. And then after that center part was done, they came and did like the perimeter section. And then that was kind of like a similar deal where they brought in a brush hog mower attachment to a tractor, cleared it mechanically, seeded by hand, and then came in for the next couple of years and spot treated with herbicide. And that lasted until about 2021, right? And then Jane says that in 2022 is when the mugwort became a very noticeable problem. And at that point, they switched contractors, and we're still bringing in somebody through 2023 to do spot application of herbicide, broadleaf herbicide to these areas of mugwort. And so after that summer with the herbicide applications, we in the fall kind of switched gears, and we started working with this spot mowing type of management strategy where we would bring in our mower and we would flag out the really big patches of mugwort, the monocultures. And I mean, you can see in that picture, like there's a lot, you know, we would just kind of flag it off, and she would just go and follow these monocultures and just keep going until it looked like we got everything. And so we started doing that. And then after it was mowed, we would overseed with another seed mix of wildflowers and native grasses. And then in the spring, we would start weed whacking, spot weed whacking, and hedge trimming. Once it got really thick and woody, the interns would go out with the hedge trimmers and manage the little patches. And then again, in 2024 in the fall, we did the spot mowing on these heavy areas. And then I'll go into the sheet mulching experiment next. But along with the mowing and the seeding, we added the sheet mulching experiment. And then spring of 2025 continued with this spot mowing and weed whacking. So we went from the original kind of like spot herbicide application to now we're doing this like mechanical removal and adding back in new seeds to try and promote new growth of something other than mugwort in these patches. So then we have our sheet mulching experiment. This one, I kind of came up with this because I was doing sheet mulching on other projects, prepping other gardens this way, and I thought, I work on mugwort, you know? And I spoke to one person, they were like, no, it won't work. And then I spoke to somebody else, and they're like, it will work, you just have to make the mulch really thick. So I thought, you know what, what's the worst that'll happen if we try it, you know? So after our spot mowing in the winter of 2024, I went out and found these areas of our largest monocultures. And we put down a layer of cardboard and then 7 to 8 inches of mulch. Tried to get it really thick. The idea behind the thick mulch is that you suffocate the roots. Because I'm sure you all know, you talk to people about managing mugwort, and it's like, some people say, don't even try it if you're not gonna get the roots out. Some people say, don't touch the roots. If you break them, you're gonna create more. So we're trying to leave them where they are and kill them in the soil. And so this is what those patches ended up look like. There were 3 of them. And while we were putting this down, I decided to do little plot surveys on these areas just to see how effective they ended up being. So from, let's see, maybe April until June, or a little bit, end of May, April and June, no, May, whatever, you know what I'm talking about. I would go and do these plot surveys where I would do kind of a cross section of these tape measures, and then pick a random coordinate, drop the quadrat, and do kind of like a percentage. And I would calculate the percent composition of the mugwort that regrew in these areas. And what I was noticing, what kind of evolved from this, accidentally, my plots had an extra factor that I hadn't considered when we put them down. The timing of the plots seemed to have an effect on when the mugwort regrew. So the timing was kind of just, it was when we could get out there. So one was put down in November, one was put down in January, and one was put down in March. And really, when I was going into this, I thought the longer they're down, the better. But as I was doing this, it's the March plot, the one that was put down last, or like earliest in the season, that one always had the lowest amount of regrowth. So this has inspired me to work with Mina Visera at Cornell Cooperative. We're gonna kind of redo this experiment with stricter parameters and just see if this timing actually could be something that is helpful in terms of managing mugwort. Again, it's like not something you could do if you have like 10 acres of mugwort and you want to cover it in mulch, like that might be a little tough, but for these like small plots, that could be pretty helpful. And then after the plots were down and I was finished taking my surveys, I would clear out, me and the interns, we would clear out the mugwort that was growing through. And now in another like few weeks in the greenhouse, I've been growing little blue stem, Indian grass, penstemon, what else? Goldenrods and common milkweed. So like aggressive plant species that are going to go into these cleared plots. And then we'll keep watching the regrowth. So we'll have those to watch and then the new plots that'll get put with the new experimental parameters. So we got a whole bunch of stuff going on in the Humes Meadow. And now we also have been starting to monitor. Last summer, I asked the interns to do a point intercept. So they would drop lines, follow the line, and then as they walked a certain amount of feet, they would just put a stake in the ground and say yes or no, mugwort is present. And so last year, mugwort was present in 51% of the meadow. And this year, when the interns did it, it was found to be present in 33%. So something we're doing seems to be working. It's probably, I mean, it could be a combination of all these things, who knows, but this is a good trend we're going to hope we follow. Any comments, questions, suggestions? No? All right. Oh, wait, we got a question. The plan is to kind of scrape off a couple inches of the mulch that was placed. So if we have like 7 inches, we're going to pull off like 3 or 4 and then just dig through that and go right into the soil. So we don't have to add anything back in. And then there's already mulch around the new plantings. So less work for us. Thank you so much. Oh, sorry. All right. Oh, well, we went to our local hardware store, Brinkman's, and we went in and we said, can we have your old cardboard? And they said, there's a dumpster in the back, it's all yours. So, so we just brought the truck in and went dumpster diving for like mountains of cardboard. And I had asked Home Depot and that was tricky to get cardboard from them for some reason. So I would do it like, yeah, your local grocery stores and all that. Thank you.
Thank you. I love the bluebird picture too. All right. So we will continue. We're a little bit behind schedule, but I think that's okay, with our roundtable announcements. And we'll start with our folks in the room. And we'll start on this side. So if you have a 1-minute update on something that's happening with invasive species in your organization or event you want to share, now is a great time to share. So would you like to start us out? And also, these little black things on some of the tables are microphones, so I might scoot around and pass the microphones around, but go ahead.
I just walked in and it's a little complicated, but I basically came in here with a background in invasive species and plant pest programs for about 23 years.
Welcome.
And I came to get to know some more people who are in the area together out here a little bit more.
Great. Thanks for joining us.
And explore them.
Nice to meet you. Yeah.
No.
You're good. Do you have anything to share?
Thank you for checking. It's interesting things. Yes, I mean,
Sure. Hi, I'm Maggie. I'm the lead nursery manager at the Long Island Native Plant Initiative. This is my intern Lex. We've been working on the Founders Pod grant from the New York Community Trust. So we have that for a year, and we're also working on our CAP grant from the Suffolk Soil and Water District. So we have 2 grants we've been focusing on this summer. So it's been a lot.
thank you. Good. All we have 2 presenters. You guys have anything to share?
This seems to be the New York Natural Heritage Program table. So we are happy to be here and collaborate with you here. All of us is coming up. Thanks, Rich Ring.
Katie lost.
And Boston. Give me here. Right.
And you guys are up.
Hi, I'm Sean Rooney from Nassau County Soil and Water Conservation District. We have various projects going on for knotweed cutting, removal of fuzzy deutzia and sapphire berry in Runtown Preserve. Try and join various invasive removal projects. And we answer a lot of phone calls at the office about lanternflies and instruct people how to traps. They just made their first lanternfly trap like yesterday. That's all.
Bruce Benjamin, I am an state conservation. I am here strictly on a personal basis. They don't even know I'm here. I'm just trying to stay current, maybe something. That's it.
Great having.
I hope you can.
Your princess.
Hi, folks. We are the Ecology, Ecological Sustainability Department here at the Sisters of St. Joseph and St. Catholic Room because pillars. We worked with LIISMA on our stilt grass, which is focused on a couple different areas utilizing weed torch. We have seen that it has been very effective, which is wonderful to the point that we are purchasing our own for our management purposes. So, yeah, so you're honestly always working on so many different invasive species. If anybody, wants to go out and enjoy learning how to identify almost all of the native invasive species we have here on Long Island, we do have it here. So I will go and show you the picture.
Living lab.
It's a living lab, so it's a constant source of job security for our team here.
Testing. Well, supposed to have good results in lawn grasses.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, the in-law ones that were, okay, something.
You guys are good.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much, guys. So next up is
Our virtual friends. And I'm going to pull up the participants list so I could read it out. Sorry if this is blocking the window for anybody, but we'll start with Beth Bellini, if you have anything to share, followed by Christopher Smith. And feel free to unmute yourself and speak. We'll be able to hear you. All right, maybe nothing from Beth. Christopher Smith, followed by David Grigg.
I'm Chris Smith, Town of Hempstead Conservation and Waterways. Our focus recently has been mostly on removing Phragmites in some of our preserves and our marina areas and trying to control the mugwort as best as we can in the preserve.
Great. I hope you learned stuff from our mugwort presentation too. All right, David Grigg, you're up.
Hi there. I'm just a resident in Remsenburg with my own little garden, and I'm fascinated in what I learn when I listen in on these calls. But all I'm trying to do is manage my garden.
Awesome.
But I love
You're
the
in
work
good
you do.
company. We like gardening too. Great. Donald Reckleaves, followed by Greg, if you have anything to share. All right. Donald's taking a second. Oh, Greg, go ahead.
Sure. Hi, everyone. This is Greg Lowenthal, president of LINPI, longtime partner of LIISMA and happy in the team. So, I'm working with Maggie at the Sisters with all of the activities that we do with native plant propagation and seed banking and seed propagation.
All right. Thank you. Next up is Jacob Cordero and followed by John Wernett. Okay, maybe nothing from Jacob, but John, if you have anything to share.
Yeah, you kind of covered it already. Just the laurel wilt update and just, keep an eye out. We still don't know how bad we have it, if it's, catastrophic or whatever. Hopefully not. But that's the biggest thing, but you already covered that.
Right. Yeah. Thank you, John. Hmm. Yeah. Jane's question is wondering if it was brought in by a nursery, if we know that yet. As far as I know, I don't think we know how it got here. Maybe John or Tom, if you have other information.
No, we don't know exactly how it got here, but the running theory is that it was probably brought on a nursery.
Mhm.
Well, I had a discussion with this yesterday with our director, and he was discussing it with DEC, with Justin Perry. I believe firewood was the possible vector.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah, so still some unknowns there.
Yeah, maybe. It's just people don't really use firewood look upstate, especially Saturday.
Yeah, it's or yeah, none of the hosts really lends itself to being firewood, but that was the discussion he had.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know where that information came from, but
we did give some bolts to pieces of wood to Dan Gilrain from Cornell, and we're hoping to see if whatever comes out. So we'll have a better idea of what is spreading it.
Right, because they're not certain of the host yet that's spreading the disease.
Right.
But I think it is thought to be some kind of human mediated because the furthest north so far that we know is North Carolina. Is that right? So it's kind of a big jump that has gone from North Carolina to here.
Right. And West Virginia. Yep.
West Virginia.
Yep.
Thank you. All right, I lost track of the list a little bit, but I think we're up to Rob Longeroux, followed by Sam Iglesias. Okay, Rob not sharing yet, but Sam. Okay, so one update from Comset State Park. They're working on a project to lead a volunteer group to cut the hardy kiwi at the base of the vines, and they're monitoring the area. So that's one of our early detection and rapid response species. Thank you, Sam Iglesias, for working on that. And also, Beth Bellini says the Town of Southampton's Community Preservation Fund is continuing to actively remove Milominate, miscanthus, and small areas of knotweed. They've hired seasonal staff as well as contracted landscapers to assist in managing thousands of acres. And they recently had a surprising amount of success slowing the regrowth of Japanese knotweed at the Andreas Spica Park in Eastport, where native shoreline vegetation is now filling in. And they're looking forward to working with LIISMA, us, to address plume poppy in Agawam Park. So thank you, Beth, for that update.
To keep it in. I'm Tom Algar, I'm the Fisheries Coordinator in the New York State Department of Agriculture and Markets. Mostly focused on spotted lanternfly. You're living in the nightmare, so you are on Long Island, the hardest hit, one of the hardest hit areas. Basically everything south of Westchester is very heavily infested. So spotted lanternfly on Long Island, still no need to further report, but reports can be entered into IMAP invasives. And then as far as management and whether it's pesticides or non-pesticide management options, Cornell Integrated Pest Management, not your cooperative extension office, but Cornell Integrated Pest Management has a SLF page. So if you Google Cornell SLF IPM, it'll come up, or reach out to me and I can send you the link. But legally, we can't make pesticide recommendations, but they can. But there's also non-pesticide options. I heard trapping mentioned earlier. Egg mass scraping is another. Vacuuming is another. And then not really in your region, but we did add a new county that was confirmed. Saratoga County was confirmed at Peebles Island. Most of the island is in Saratoga County. A very small portion of it is in Albany County. So there was a little bit of, which county it was defined in, but it was confirmed for Saratoga County. So now I think we're up to 29 counties in New York State, almost half the state. And that's where we sit with spotted lanternfly. And I just want to plug the Invasive Species Expo. I know many PRISM folks will be there and partners. But that's coming up very, very quickly. Not this weekend, but next weekend. Starting Sunday is the public facing event. And then Monday and Tuesday is professional conference. If you have not registered yet, please do so. Please volunteer as well. Yeah, look forward to seeing people at the expo. Thanks.
Great.
Oh,
Thank you.
and thanks for me being able to cross off my Laurel bulletin, because you already covered that very, very well. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Yeah, so just a reminder, the dates for that expo is the 14th to the 16th. That's a Sunday to a Tuesday. So definitely go there. It's going to be a lot of great content. I'll be presenting if you want to hear more from me too.
And it's free.
And it's free. It's free. You just need to get there. All right. Thank you, everybody. And if there's any last minute updates that didn't get in, feel free to put that in the chat. I believe at this point, we're going to be taking a break, quick break, staying in the room. And maybe in about 10 minutes, we'll get started with the next presentation, if that sounds good. So stretch your legs and come back here.